I'm AJ Kulatunga, and on tonight's episode of Welcome to Monday, we're going to be looking at how do you transition from the customer service model to the customer experience model, because that's where it's all at. Welcome to Monday Entrepreneurs, thrilled to have you here with me as we stir up trouble amongst the status quo. So as I mentioned earlier on, I want to talk to you guys about moving beyond this notion of customer service into customer experience. And the reason why I want to talk to you about that is that I feel as though everyone's so challenged these days and there's a lot of pressure being put on a lot of people. You know, personal problems are high, trusts are very low, and I think in order to stand out from all this noise out there, that you really need to focus on how do you provide people this amazing experience. Not just servicing them through your products and services, but just how do you provide an experience for them? Yeah. So every business out there needs to think about customer experience, move beyond the notion of just servicing someone. Because just servicing someone, it becomes transactional. And a transactional way of thinking is just swapping a product or a service and exchanging it for money, right? Very simple, very basic. You don't want to really do anything with a transaction, okay? But the way businesses grow today, organizations grow, people grow today, is about creating experiences that build trust and more build relationships. And if you can focus on creating an experience that does that, beautiful things happen. So let me give you an example of what I do to create an experience for my customers. So for the long-time viewers will know of the show, you'll know that I have two major activities. I do a whole bunch of stuff, but there's two things I do mainly. First thing is I'm a professional speaker on entrepreneurial thinking. So I'm on stages all around the country and sometimes even go overseas to talk to people, how to teach them how to think like an entrepreneur. That's the first thing I do. Second thing I do is I got a consulting firm that grows small businesses and makes them accelerate their growth, right? So two very exciting things. They're both connected to me because of the entrepreneurial mind. But in the speaking area, there are so many speakers out there, so many, right? But very few of them focus on this notion of creating an audience experience, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, let me show you how I start off my presentations. So in my opener, I do this thing that I do, and well, look, take a look at it and you'll see what I mean. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me here. Mark, thank you so much for introducing me. So as Mark said, I'm from Darwin. Can everyone hear me up the back? That's cool, gentlemen? Yep, thanks, guys. I'm from Darwin. Has anyone ever been to Darwin? Yeah, cool. Okay, sweet. So in Darwin, is anyone from Darwin? No, good. Yes, all right. So you've kind of like seen the tour of hell, whereas I've grown up with it. So in Darwin, we do things very differently. So I thought, you know, to warm this place up, I know it's Brisbane, but there's a bit of a cold spell going on. What's with that? I'm going to teach you a traditional Darwin greeting. So this is something that only us locals know, because you'd try to get the attention of someone in Darwin and you'd say, excuse me, mate, excuse me, and they'd just keep walking. But then you say this one phrase and all of a sudden they stop dead in their tracks and they turn around and they greet you. So I'm going to teach you that phrase. The spelling is very important. So it's spelt W-O-I-B-R-U-S-S-S exclamation mark. And the punctuation is very important. And it's pronounced Woibrus. So I'll get you guys all to stand up. Yes, this is one of those presentations. All right, on the count of three, we're going to go Woibrus. 1, 2, 3. Woibrus. Oh, that's beautiful. But you know what? We're entrepreneurs, we're business owners, we're building our careers. We've got to do one step better. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Woibrus. Ah, I love it. Cool. Thank you, guys. Sit down and let's get started. So there you go. Woibrus is my thing. And here's how it becomes an experience. So in the speaking world, you get told, oh, have your icebreaker, have your opener, and that'll settle the audience in. And you saw that, people laughed, people, they had a good time, that little moment of relaxation in there. And that's so important to set up the entire talk, okay? And that's what most speakers do. They have their own icebreaker, like turn to the person next to you and give them a high five, that sort of stuff, right? So I wanted to develop that into a lesson that I carried throughout my presentation, because this is part of my experience, okay? So what do? During the session, someone will ask me a question, well, what's branding, or what's a great way to do branding, okay? So I bring back that Boy Brass lesson that I had at the start, and this is exactly what I tell them. Okay, so that opening Boy Brass that everyone did, you all thought that was just a cute little opener, didn't you? Well, here's the real truth behind it. Actually, you know what? Let's have a look at it. So stand up, all of you stand up in the room. And if you've gone to a seminar or a workshop before where you've seen someone speak, everyone stand up if you've seen someone speak before. And pretty much the whole room will stand up, yeah? Then I say, all right, remain standing if you've ever seen another speaker do Boy Brass opening. And everyone sits down. And that, my friends, is branding, yeah? So it becomes an powerful lesson, and they get that because no other speaker will do Boy Brass on stage, right? That's my thing. And it gets even better. How does that relate back to me? Well, whenever I'm traveling somewhere or people communicate with me online, I might not remember their face, but they always open their message with me and they say, Boy Brass. Why? It's my thing. And no one else can take that away from me, because even if someone else out there says Boy Brass on stage, people are instantly going to go, no, that's AJ's thing, right? So that's part of the experience, and I take that even further. Whenever I do this crazy group activity thing using special forces training from the US, and it's a beautiful little exercise to do in my sessions, right? I use Boy Brass there as part of my call and response action. I use Boy Brass throughout my presentation because it helps me check in with the audience levels. That is how I create an experience. And many, many years ago, I learned the difference between getting up to give a talk and creating a real experience for people. And because I'm growing my career as a professional speaker, I'm so obsessed with this stuff, right? Even in my business and even with my clients and strategic partners, I'm obsessed with creating an amazing experience for everyone around me. And you know what happens when I get it right? I get people right into me. So this is just someone who came to my seminar a couple of weeks ago, right? And she said the most beautiful thing. She said, "Thank you for bringing so much energy to your presentation. It was fantastic to see. You provided some great insights and showed the group a personal side which allows them the opportunity to connect with you emotively. And this makes your presentation resonate at a deeper level." That's what I'm talking about. So imagine if you could create that same experience for your customers, your team members, particularly if you're in a larger organization and you're the head of a sales team. How is your sales team perceived by the other departments? Is it transactional? Does no one really care what you do as long as you get your job done? Or do people actually want your help? Do they want to help you achieve the overall goals of the organization? If you're a CEO, how are you influencing? What sort of an experience are you creating around your team, around your strategic partners, around your board directors? What sort of an experience are you creating? And when you start getting into the experience realm, beautiful things start to happen. You're no longer playing in the customer service space. And anyone, in fact, who's playing in the customer service space, they're not going to be relevant to the market the way things are going very soon. So start getting used to this whole notion of experience. And the best question to ask yourself is sit down and go, how do I make my customers or the people around me fall in love with my products and services, my business, or even myself? And that's what I did. I took the lessons that I learned back home in Darwin when I achieved so much success there, and I brought them into my new business, and that spills out into everything I do. Even these videos, I hope you get a feel of, like, this is how I am. Like, it's not put on, it's just me being me. And I don't care if people look at this and go, oh, he's just some idiot that talks a lot or whatever, or he's dressed up in a t-shirt, how is he addressing CEOs? Well, I don't really care, because this is me. This is me showing up the way I know how. And when you have the courage to do that in your own business, in your own organization, in your own careers, beautiful things happen. So focus on the customer experience, because it's the way of the future. I'm AJ Kulatunga. Thanks for watching this video. Whatever happens in business and in life, I wish you nothing but success. Take care.